Transformers figures. There are big ones, there are small ones.
Why you bullying me?
There are super special ones, and then we have those that are just so big. They get their own freaking huge package. In this video, I'll be showcasing my entire Transformers collection. Oh, and the B helmet's back, for those of you who missed it. As here you can see, my entire Transformers collection is laid out in my living room, ready to be showcased. Also, my mom watches my videos, so if she's watching this in the future, she must be having an asthma attack right now. Originally, I didn't know how should I arrange these. Like, do I do it by faction? Do I do it by good guys or bad guys? Do I do it by character? Do I do it by generation? So ultimately I decided to post a community poll, and the better one won out, and I'm arranging these by generations. So we're gonna start like movies, Prime, like War For Cybertron Trilogy, Combined Wars Trilogy, and so on. Because that's what you guys chose. I'm not gonna be transforming all of these, because if I do that, we're gonna be here all day. I might do some, but you know, this thing is really hot. I feel like I'm dying the more I wear this. So can we please hurry this up? And here we have my Studio Series collection. Honestly, I was kind of surprised when I, put these guys here, like started organizing them, because I thought I had way more than these. I mean, it's pretty big, and yes, I got all of these guys. Their backdrops is that I'm not showing them because, well, they take too much space. So if you guys want to quickly just see a couple of those. Although I have a lot of backdrops that I use. Not really for these guys, because the backdrops take quite a bit of space, and I like keeping it. They're really neat, but for displaying them, they're like only useful if you have like a big room, like something like BFM page. Honestly, the Studio Series line is a very solid one. I genuinely like all of these, with some exceptions. I know I'm gonna get those people in the comments down below that are gonna be like, oh, they're not masterpieces, they're not like third party. Yeah, I know, but for the amount of quality you get for these guys at a relatively low price, I think it's worth it, to be honest. Granted, all the figures here are winners. Some, like Studio Series Soundwave, are very underwhelming. Actually, funny story, my brother got me this guy for Christmas. And a couple of days before Christmas, we went to the store where my brother bought this guy from, and there was a spare Soundwave in there, and I was like, oh, Soundwave, I don't like that figure. And my brother had this look on his face like, oh, I done goofed up. And immediately I knew he got me this Soundwave for Christmas. I mean, he's fine, the stance thing is nice, but it's not very movie accurate, I guess. I guess it's somewhat movie accurate, but I'd rather have the Revenge of the Fallen version more than this one. I think all of the Constructicons here are also like very solid. Mix Master, whoever this guy is, and this guy right here. I'm sorry I forgot their names, but just like the movies, they're not very memorable. They're all pretty solid. I'm trying to get Devastator, but there are no long hauls, Demolishers, or all of those guys around. Maybe one of you guys could donate to me so I could, like, I don't know, buy that Studio Series 69 Devastator to my Patreon. That would be much appreciated. And, of course, characters like Sideways here are a much great improvement than their previous releases, like the Dark of the Moon Sideways here. Which I kind of still do like, but compared to Studio Series, Studio Series is just way better. Other figures here are really good. Studio Series Lockdown, massive improvement over his toy counterpart. Mirage, also massive improvement over his toy counterpart, because this guy is an actual Mirage. G-Bumblebee, I think it's the best Bumblebee figure Studio Series has come up with. And I don't go out of my ways to collect Bumblebees, but this guy is amazing. I like this guy. This guy is good. He gets the fire thumbs up of honor. And yes, that's a thing now. And yeah, guys, that's my Studio Series collection. I like all of these guys for the most part. They're all in perfect condition, with the exception of this Bumblebee. And everyone else is pretty much in good shape. The Bumblebee's just missing pieces, everyone else is good. I would recommend most of these guys if you do find them. And you get these sweet backdrops. so I think it's quite a steal. Oh god, it's so hot in here. I'm sitting down because it's hot and I don't like standing out that much because I'm lazy like Squeaker. Anyways, here are my Transformers Prime figures. Oh, and also I did a oopsie. I forgot to showcase this guy right here. Studio Series Shatter, the vehicle one. I think she's overhated. I don't think she's that bad. I like her a lot actually, and I like her little two sombra
Apagando las luces.
That's going on there. They're pretty cool. Anyway, Studio Series is long past. Let's talk about these guys. So here we had the Transformers Prime cast in its full glory. Honestly, I know I don't have a lot, and you guys are gonna see why in a bit. So I'm combining Prime and Beast Hunters here because, you know, they're kind of one and the same. And I have some notable figures here like the War Master Breakdown who comes with Gary, the flying Beacon. I have a Deluxe Plus RC here, which I think it's a very solid figure, and I think this mold was reused for Chromium Generations, which I'm gonna show her a little later. She comes with this giant gun, and I never understood why. Okay. I got this Voyager class Ultra Magnus when I was like out of New York, just like in some random store, like getting fuel for the car. Here I have Beast Hunter's Wheeljack, and just before you ask, he has like that problem that anyone who owns this figure has. The fact that his arm comes off. And I lost the little Beast Hunter thing, so yeah, unfortunately, this figure is both kind of a QR mess and incomplete. And here I have Smokescreen, who's totally not Knockout in disguise. So as you guys can see, there's a huge disparity here between the Autobots and Decepticons. I always been more about collecting Decepticons, just like the Decepticons a whole lot more, so I collected these guys a bit more than I did the Autobots. I think this is my favorite figure from the line. I just really like the colors here for Dead End. And yes, I know it's just a recolor of, you know, a Wheeljack with a different head, but I like this way better than the Beast Hunter variant. Oh, and at one point I got myself this Cyberverse? I know it's not Cyberverse, I mean, you know, the little toy line. Breakdown with the Apex armor. Not sure why. I mean, it looks cool, but usually I don't go out of my way to collect those. Although it does have this really cool feature. Whoa! Overall, I really like all of these guys here, but Steve kinda takes the cake for probably the best character. Like, you know I need to hide my bias since I'm a, you know, trusted source of news, but Steve over here encapsulates everything right with a Transformers character. Steve here is the absolute Chad. Like, he wins by default, but if, you know, Steve didn't exist, then obviously Dead End will be my favorite here. And up next, we got the Predacons. Now, I think these guys are on par with the Decepticons in terms of like the amount of characters I have here. But I wanted to list them separately because, well, the reason why I have so many of them is because as a kid, I was very upset that these guys never appeared on the Transformers Prime TV show. So, I made it my mission to get as many of these guys as possible. And I did. I'm still missing a few. There's like that sky blue one, and there's like one more. But I did my best to get most of these guys. And I genuinely do like a lot of these guys. Some people might have a problem with like the gimmicks and stuff, or like what, yay, or like whatever. I still think these guys are solid. That flew really far away. And yes, before I hear someone complaining, I do know that this guy is technically not a Predacon, but he's a Beast Former and part of the Transformers Prime, so he get to be here. Deal with it. And now I'm gonna very quickly transform them, and by very quickly I mean use editing to make the process be faster. starting to get hot again. No! So yeah, here's my whole movie collection. Now, admittedly, I didn't get all of these guys when they came out. Like, for example, this Hunt for the Decepticons Lockdown, I actually didn't get him when, you know, Hunt for the Decepticons was an actual thing. I actually found this guy this year in some random store where they were selling used Transformers. Unfortunately, he doesn't have like the engine that he uses in his legs. But other than that, this guy's in perfect condition. Like, really well preserved. I'm actually genuinely surprised. Same thing with the first movie, Bone Crusher, which, funny story, this guy was like displayed in his vehicle mode, and I thought it was the Studio Series version. And since in Amazon that Bone Crusher is like $100, I thought this was quite a steal, so I took him, only to find out that he was the dude that's a 7 Bone Crusher. I tried to collect most of the Age of Extinction cast, to why you see a lot of these guys here. I used to have Slug, but I broke him. This Optimus Prime is also pretty broken. His hand's missing, and the sword's missing. Instead of giving this really cool custom sword, it can also function as a keychain. Pretty cool, man. In the same store where I got Lockdown, I also got myself this Hailstorm right here. I think I share an image of like him in a community poll where I asked you guys which figure should I get. And I also found this Fancytron, which I thought is pretty cool. He's missing one of the swords, but other than that, he's pretty much complete. By now, you guys probably noticed some of the smaller figures here, like the Human Alliance apps and some of like the mini Dinobots before the last night.
And I can't get up!
Why would you do that? And yeah, I used to collect a lot of like the other Transformers that didn't appear in the movies because I thought they were pretty cool looking, and I always wish these guys would appear in the movies. These human figures actually were part of like this Human Alliance toy set. They basically came with these larger Transformers that could triple change and give their partners like a vehicular like set. Like they could transform into vehicles, they could be a robot, or they could be a battle station. In here, I have Revenge of the Fallen Sandstorm. Yeah, I have 2 Sandstorms, and we got Squeaker here. This guy right here, I don't remember his name, but he was actually part of that combiner little toy line that was like a thing during the movies. I think it was like Power Combiner or something like that, and that's where all of these little blue pegs come from. Like this Transformer will turn into like the chest, and the rest of the components will like help him form a larger robot. I lost all the components, obviously. Going back to the Decepticon side over here, I think you guys are very impressed with Hailstorm and who keeps on falling, and Balsitron over here. Yeah, this Revenge of the Fallen rabbits I actually bought in my country, not here in America. So this guy has been with me for a long time. Probably one of my oldest figures, if not the oldest figure I have right here. Because in my country, we didn't have a lot of like movie toys. So that's why like a lot of like the early stuff's not here. Oh, and this Decepticon Human was part of another Human Alliance character. He came with Decepticon Ice Pick, and I still have Ice Pick. He's just a kind of ugly looking figure, and at the same time I lost some of his parts, so I don't want to display him. I got the Age of Extinction Lockdown, but now I had the much better looking Studio Series Lockdown. Age of Extinction Galvatron, The Last Night Berserk, and The Last Night Nitro Zeus. And of course here in the back you can see The Last Night Megatron. I used to have The Last Night Barricade, but I kind of broke that figure. The transformation for that figure was like very not that good. But yeah, this is my movie collection. Probably not as impressive as some of the other people out there, but I'm sure there's like 1 or 2 things here that you haven't seen before. That Hailstorm right there is really bothering me right now. Up next is the Power of the Primes, Combiner Wars, Time Returns, you know, that whole mess of a trilogy. Now, by that point I kind of like fallen off Transformers a little, like, not like I gave up with the franchise or whatever, but I was kind of uninterested in anything that wasn't the movie. So for this tour, I skipped most of it, but when I found a few figures here and there, I did buy the female Holobot. They're pretty cool. I know some people really hate this mold, like just
and I can't get up!
I think it's a pretty cool mold and works for G1 accuracy. I was originally gonna get all of the female Holobots so I could like, you know, get the female combiner, but I don't like how, what's her name? Lancer looks, and I could never find green lights, so unfortunately I kinda missed out on that. But the triple changes here are really cool. I think Octane here, like he's a very cool figure. Dreadwing I had no plans on getting. I found him like a couple of months ago in some random store, no one had bought him, and I felt bad, so I brought him home. You know, I'm adopting him like a parent would. All of these figures are my children. They all love me. Now they're fighting over me. Real quick. Here's the box. As you can see, it's pretty big. They got the Megatronia art right here. Looks pretty cool. Woman, Decepticon warrior. The woman part's very important, you guys. And in the background, you can see how the components. Oh, it's a bit dusty. I haven't I pulled this off the shelf, so sorry about that. So here you can see the box, and those are how the separate individuals look like. How they're supposed to look in robot mode. I think they're pretty cool individually. They're pretty cool, but together as Megatronia, I think they're exceptionally cool looking. I prefer this over Victorian. I think the color scheme here it's far superior. I do like the fact that this is a female Decepticon combiner. We don't see those very often, if at all. Megatronia here, you can pose her in a low, like really cool way. You can get her into action. You just gotta be a little careful here and make sure you're doing it right. I actually used it for the stop motion for college, if you guys remember that, if you guys were here for that. Or we're gonna put a link to it in the description down below or whatever for you guys to check out. So you guys can see here, she poses really well. She's actually one of my favorite figures. As for everyone else here in this toy line, they're alright. Like, I don't dislike this toy line. There are some really good toys here, like Overlord, Octane, the little female Autobots. A little one, I don't think she's as bad as people say. Yeah, I get why people are mad and why people don't like this mold, but I think it's okay. Overall, it's a pretty alright toy line. I get it. It's probably not gonna be, anyone's favorite, but it has some solid figures here, and if you can get your hands on any of these, especially the big ones, I recommend getting them. Pretty cool. Anyway guys, now we are on the Miscellaneous storyline. Now I didn't have enough like the Prime, Combiner Wars, movie studio series toy lines to put them all together here. So I just got these smaller groups together here from different toy lines. We got the War For Cybertron characters, we got the Robots in Disguise, Energon, and the Generation/IW toy line thing. I'll explain each one as I go. So first of all, let's start with War For Cybertron, something that's, good. Combiner, Bruticus. He's actually brought this Platinum pack set that comes along with Grimlock. Here, Grimlock's okay. I mean, the shoulders are not that, fun to transform. And the shield's pretty small. This is one of those examples that you're probably better off getting at third party, but this also came with Bruticus right here, with all of the Combaticons. And I know that this, Combiner is a bit controversial, some people really don't like it. I think it's fun. I honestly like these quite a bit. I'm a sucker for Combiner teams like this. It's pretty cool. And oh, you also got myself Skyward, which I think it's also part of the Something also kind of cool is that they came with these little, well, they didn't came, but what was part of the toy line were these little cassettes that are, Fall Cybertron / War For Cybertron inspired. They contain, Soundwave cassettes here. Unfortunately, I never got, Fall Cybertron Soundwave to show you here. But they have a pretty cool gimmick. You open this, you click at the button, you press it, and when they leave, they should transform. Bam! One step changer. I mean, then of course you just need to rotate here this a little bit and put everything into place. But it's still pretty cool. I really like these ones. I think they're a whole lot more fun than what we get nowadays. Yeah! Oh crap! The camera didn't get it. Yeah! I think Rabbit is probably the worst one. Not because it's bad, just in terms of transformation and stuff. He's the least fun to transform back into a cassette. But he's okay. I mean, they all look pretty cool though. It's a shame we never saw him in Fall Cybertron or War For Cybertron. As for everyone else here, they all look pretty cool. I mean, I don't hate any of these guys. I have problems with Grimlock right here, but even then, I still like him. I like him quite a bit. Next up, from the Robots in Disguise tool line, we got Steeljaw and Drift. Now, I actually really like this Drift. I like how he can store the swords. I'm a sucker for Transformers who can, like, you know, have like really cool looking weapon storage, and this Drift does that perfectly. It's really cool for that. And also, I think I got him specifically because I never got the Last Night Drift. So I just, you know, got this guy as a replacement for him. And I got this Steeljaw because I saw the episode where Steeljaw first appeared, and out of all the Decepticons in the show, at that point, I thought Steeljaw was like easily the coolest one. So I got him just because of that. But other than that, I didn't collect the RID toys because I don't like the way most of them look. I'm not a fan of like the changes they did for the Decepticon and all about Insignia. I get what's there, I get it, but I still don't like it. Now this guy, I got him because honestly, he was in vehicle mode. I found him on that store where I found those other used Transformers, and I found him and he was in vehicle mode. And I thought this was Ironhide, and I decided to buy him for the kicker memes, but it was actually Inferno. JoJo memes intensify, I guess. He's a very old figure, you know, so he doesn't have as good articulation as some of these guys do. I still feel him he's still pretty solid though. Like, I mean, you know, he has hollow legs and a bunch of other stuff that I know people will find disgusting and not like it. Oh, he's missing a piece here. Damn, I've been ripped off! He's just here for the memes, you know, the memories. Even though they weren't so great. Okay, now we got these guys who are part of the Generation/IDW toy line. I guess that's, I don't know what the official name for it is. This Chromia right here is a remold of Transformers Prime RC. It's the same mold, they just changed it like almost entirely and added like completely new paint. It's almost unrecognizable really if you don't know what to look for. I really like this figure, although there's some false marketing with the comic she comes from. She comes with 2 guns and she only comes with 1 in the actual package. So I'm surprised someone has 2 Hasbro. Roadbuster here, I found him at the store and I thought he was really cool. I'm a sucker for Transformers that come with guns and you can store them, just like I mentioned before. Roadbuster here looks pretty cool. I don't have the stickers anymore, you know, because stickers, you know, on Transformers are commonly known not to be that good. But I still think he's pretty cool and everything. I like him quite a bit. The legs are probably not the best, and like the way these wheel stores can be kind of annoying. But he's still pretty cool. And speaking of falling, we got Wembley. Now this figure is infamous for falling because the high heels were in done completely right. Oh my god, this is actually pretty dusty. People who own this figure or owned it, you know, past tense, probably are wondering how is she standing up right now. Well, her high heels are actually custom made. I got them custom made from Shapeways, and now I can like pose her in whatever pose I want, and she poses just fine. I like how you can hide the sword like inside, like, you know, the sheet. I think that's what's called. Yeah, like that. This figure, in my opinion, is very cool. I think it gets a lot of hate because of the high heels. And yes, you shouldn't go out of your way to buy replacements, you know, from the official version. But this figure, I will recommend it. I think it's one of the best Wimblets out there. If you can get past the high heels and if you can, you know, get replacements for it, I think this figure is solid enough and should definitely be in your collection. We got Tankor. I don't know why I got this guy. I mean, I watched Beast Machines. I thought he was okay. I don't like the fact that he's Rhinox, but he's pretty cool. Oh, he can do this. Yeah, that's my boy. Next up, we got Rhinox. Generations Rhinox, who, in my opinion, best figure just for this. Just because he can do that from the show, this figure gets immediately 10 out of 10 from me. The Kingdom Rhinox can't even do that. It doesn't even look like OG Rhinox. This Rhinox is really accurate. It has some problems standing up from time to time, but for the most part, you should still be able to like get him into quite a few good looking poses. Oh wow, he actually stood up pretty well. I never appreciated you until I saw the Kingdom figure. Keep rocking, my boy. Oh my god, he stood up. Yay! There we go. And then we got Double Dealer, or as I like to call him, Walmart Double Dealer. I mean, I thought this figure was fine. Some really strange choices, like having the Autobot insignia in his ass. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. But other than that, it's a okay figure. Would I recommend it? Not really. I guess if you don't have a double dealer, just go for that one. Rhinox, can you stand up? Can you stand up and not fall? He did it! My boy's making me proud! Sideways!
The prophecy is true.
Our master has arrived, guys. Doesn't need this anymore. Yeah, look at him. Sideways is back and better than ever, looking more imposing than ever. Until we get the Studio Series version, which will probably be a whole lot better than this one, but let's not talk about that. This is Cybertron Sideways, and I found him this year. Actually, my friend found him in a store. And you know who you are, you're probably watching this video. Shout out to you, my friend. Just comment down below, whatever. Thank you for getting it from me. Perfect condition. I don't think there's a single part missing. It's a used Sideways. The only thing that he's missing is the Cyber Planet key. There's the Cyber Planet keys before the Decepticons. So if you guys know how to get, if you guys know where I can get a, Cyber Planet key for Sideways, let me know I'm missing that, or if you have one, give it to me. Anyways, to end it all out, we got the War For Cybertron Trilogy, Earthrise, Siege, Kingdom. I'm not gonna show them all one by one, but just better if I show you all at once. I think this is like my second biggest series that I have. I think the only thing that comes close to it will be the movies, and if you combine it with Studio Series and Transformers Prime. I think this is probably my biggest, I collected the most amount of characters out of the trilogy, which is funny because I went on record saying that I think the Netflix shows are trash, but the figures themselves are pretty good. So yeah, you might recognize a lot of these characters. Of course, you got Black Arachnia, some of the... Why does it keep happening? Some of the fossilizers. Actually, one of the things... Just let it go. Just let it go. I actually managed to get all the little cassettes for this series. Well, at least I think I did. I don't think there's any more besides these guys right here. Unfortunately, I don't have a Soundwave to go alongside them. You got the Soundwave cassettes and the Mercenary cassettes, and yes, there are Mercenary cassettes. And I'm gonna talk about them in a bit. I did got myself a Sound Blaster though, so at least there's that. So if I ever wanna, fulfill the Soundwave fantasy of touching this button and ejecting a cassette, I got this guy for that. So it's not all bad. But speaking of Sound Blaster over here, I actually got myself a couple of Mercenaries because I'm trying to build up that faction, and we're gonna ignore that Black Arachnia just fell. Yeah, Double Dealer, Nightburst, Sound Blaster, Exhaust, and Bug Bite are... Yeah, that was my fault. The Mercenaries here are all pretty cool. I genuinely like them all a lot. My only complaint is that I wish there were more. I mean, technically, I guess you could say that this guy could also count as a mercenary, but he's more like one of the Quintesson's little drones, but I don't count him. Anyways, I'm gonna remove all of these guys from here before they start falling again. Now I'm gonna pull off all of the Maximus and Predacons, which are the main reason I started collecting the Kingdom toy line. I collected Earthrise because I thought some of the figures there were pretty cool looking. But for the most part, I kind of stayed away from Siege and to an extent Earthrise. If I saw a figure that I just liked, I got it. And that's usually how it goes for me when it comes to me buying figures. I don't buy them because, oh my god, I have a quota or a collection, or certain characters I want for my collection. Although that certainly does play a role. For the most part, do these guys look cool? And I get them. I mean, granted, there are some characters that don't look entirely, Beast Wars accurate, like Dinobot over here, or even Optimus Primal. But for him, I feel like it's a bit nitpicky. I still think that he's very solid. I like how I finally have a Beast Wars cast here. You know, granted, they're not like masterpiece level quality or accuracy, but they're all pretty solid figures. Even Transmutate, even though she's not entirely accurate, I still think she's one of those figures that you just need to have if you're a fan of the show. And that's the main reason why I got all of these characters, because I was a fan of the show. I'm only missing Tigatron here to complete my maximal cast. And for the Predacons, I'm waiting for Waspinator, and I hope that Transformers Legacy, or whatever, you know, the next storyline turns out being, we actually do get the rest of the Predacon cast, because the Predacons are very, very short on numbers. And to cap it all off, we just got your regular Autobots and the Decepticons. And yeah, you know, it's actually quite a bit smaller than I imagined. I really do like the Air Rife Optimus Prime. I think it's one of my favorite versions of Optimus Prime. Usually I'm not a big fan of the G1 Optimus Prime, but recently, like, as you know, I grew older, and as you know, Age of Extinction and The Last Night went on, I grew to become more appreciative of the G1 Optimus Prime. I grew from, you know, thinking the G1 was like silly and very simple, to not thinking that, man, G1 looks really good in comparison to the movie one, which I think it's a very accurate way to describe most of the Transformers fans, especially newer and older fans. I think the Airwest cast is pretty cool. Cliff Jumper is a pretty cool figure. Not a big fan of, you know, his backpack and how you can use it as a shield. I think it's kind of silly. A lot of people do hate on the RC mold because of the backpack and the way it transforms. And yeah, I understand why. I honestly really don't mind it. The leader one here is fine. I hated her at first because of the head. I thought the head was way too big into promotional pictures, but it actually looks pretty good, like when you have it on hand. I do recommend it. The little ones here, I got them at a discount. That's the only reason I got them. They're pretty cool. If you can get them for a cheap price, get them. And Rector here came with Lifeline, I think that's her name. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I do like the whole, you know, medic shield. I think it's way better than Cliff Jumper's little back of the car shield. As for the Decepticons here, I like them all. Shockwave is really good. I really do like how you can take the armor off Shockwave, have a G1 accurate Shockwave, or keep the armor on and have him like be a beast. Cyclonos, like I mentioned before, really cool. Some of the smaller Decepticons here are also very cool. This guy is probably the weakest one, in my opinion. I like him. Like, I got him because I want, you know, different kinds of Transformers, not just this Autobots and Decepticons here. I wish he was taller. I know that's the biggest complaint a lot of people have with this figure, and I completely understand. But I'm a sucker for guns, I'm a sucker for accessories, and I just really like this Astro Train, especially when you triple change him to, you know, Jet and like Train. The Train one is probably the weakest one, but I still think the Train's cool. I still really like it. Well guys, it looks like that's it for this video. I put all my Transformers here, fighting each other, as God intended. Anyways, so hopefully you'll enjoy. I might do more stuff with these guys. If you guys wanted to, give me some suggestions. I know you guys want to do some stop motions. Sure, I can do that. When I have the time, because these take a long time to do. Hopefully you enjoy these, and probably right now on the screen I'm gonna like do like a little aerial shot so you can see all the cool details I added. It's gonna take me forever to put all of these back in the shell. I know that in comparison to other YouTubers, I probably don't have as much. The fan page probably has way more than me, but I've always been more of a casual collector. Like, I only collect if I think they're cool and if they're at a discount. And if you know, made it this long in the video, I think that has been made pretty obvious. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next video. Stay safe, guys. Also, donate to my Patreon immediately. Anyways guys, before we go, shout out to our amazing patrons: TrueBlue712, Stitch Productions, Stephanie Baller, Christopher Prime, Predaking Hunter Plays, Mario Gordon, Allspark Studios, Scrub Lordo, Epic Nin, and special thanks to our big bold patrons, Jordan the Great and X23, who donated a amount of money. I'll leave you guys to wonder how much they did. Thank you guys for your support, it's much appreciated. It helps me keep the channel running and feed Squeaker, and if you guys want to donate to our Patreon, Link to it is gonna be in the description down below and in the comments down below, along with the channels of my patrons, so you guys can go and check them out. I collab with some of them sometimes. Scrub Lord. And if you guys want me to shout you out, put a link to your channel, suggest your own videos, or collab with me in some of my videos or your videos, vice versa, doesn't matter. The link to our Patreon is gonna be in the description down below and in the comments down below for you guys to check out if you're interested. But keep in mind that this is entirely optional. So yeah, thank you to my patrons for donating, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys.